I want to give a warning that not everything we did worked.
Fall of 23 through 24.
A lot happened in that year. Good grief.
Hiring internationally for a long time got a bad rap. There was kind of this funny Western pride of, people that are offshore. And it was kind of this negative thing.
We were trying to find the cheapest option for whatever we were hiring for.
That's right.
And totally changed this, which is talent wins every time. It raises, It's like rising tides raises all ships. Go hire the best person and stretch to pay that person, or don't hire them. And when we did that in some critical roles, 25, we looked really good.
Welcome back to the founder's story from Collin and I at Alarm Masters, where we're kind of sharing our journey up to this point. We are about 3 years in. And so if you haven't listened, go back. We kind of did the initial interest all the way to close, talked about our first 90 days. And today we are talking about first full year of us at Alarm Masters in seat and really kind of starting to put our own DNA, our own imprint on the business.
Yeah. I want to give a warning that not everything we did worked, and not everything that we thought was a good idea is something we're doing today.
That is true.
Made a lot of changes, did a lot of things. This is sort of, we're calling it the first year. It's really like there was sort of a 3 to 4 month period of when the old owners were still involved, and that kind of coincided and ended. So really it's like kind of our first year and a half, really, because we're thinking about it like after we were fully independently running the business, no help from the old owners, etc.
Fall of 23 through 24.
A lot happened in that year. Good grief. I mean, one of the things I would say is we transitioned away really in this first 6 months of the year, or of us owning the business, really 6 to 9 months. We started transitioning from Collin kind of doing all of the day-to-day roles, Stephen handling the kind of back office and holding that down, us running with basically the original team, and transitioning to replacing some of the original team members and upskilling and hiring new people and hiring. So we hired our first salesperson the summer of our first year. So it was kind of, 6 months into the first year. That was a big step up for us. And it was something that I was sort of nervous about because I was running sales and I had a very specific way that I wanted that to be run. What was kind of interesting though, is I was still doing sales. I was still the enterprise rep running enterprise deals. And then I had the salesperson kind of running mid-market deals and everything that wasn't an enterprise deal. And so again, that really happened. We hired that salesperson a year after we closed on the business, but that in our kind of storyline, it kind of happened about 6 months in. And so that was a big hire. That was somebody that was outside the industry. And that was interesting because I was also running multiple roles still in the business. So I was still project managing, running all of ops, basically running customer success and customer service. We did end up hiring a customer service director that year to kind of help run all of the like billables, all of the customer interaction, anything with a customer calling in, asking for a service call, any of that really existing customer stuff was being handled by the director of customer service. And that was starting to peel layers off of getting me enabled to do more work. And I think one thing that's really, I want to just word of caution. I think we actually balanced it pretty well, but I think too quick people that acquire businesses want to get, this is here, how about this? People that acquire businesses are trying to too quickly get out of doing tactical, not highest and best use activities. And people that found a company and are building it from the ground up take too long to get out of those roles. And I think there's a balance there. You have got to do the thing to know how to improve it. And you need to save money and you need to stay in it longer. If you're acquiring a business, you're going to want to take off ops and customer service and collections calls and fail to communicate call. You're going to want to scoop that off your plate because it doesn't feel highest and best use. And there is some of that. You can't do it all, but you really need to sit in it a little longer than you really think. Because I think that it's incredibly valuable for you to get perspective on your business. And I would say this to somebody that's running a business today and they were really trying to find that general manager to kind of replace them. I would highly advise that you take that general manager and their first 6 to 9 months, you hire them to kind of come alongside you. You continue to do the role and you let them go do every single role in your business for some period of time and be a gap filler. Because if they can't see 360,
Yeah.
they're going to be coming back to you and they're not going to be as effective. So I would say that was one thing we did really well was balancing me staying in the grind of doing a lot of these tasks
Mm-hmm.
and then slowly peeling away and hiring people to replace those. And I was still kind of involved, but just not to the same degree. Um, so yeah, I think we did that. Steven, you can kind of touch on one big thing we did in our first year, start to hire international talent, which
Yeah.
really helped us dramatically.
Yeah, I had used international talent. Well, I guess we both had in a couple
Yeah.
other business ventures in the past, and I think hiring internationally for a long time got a bad rap. And there was kind of this funny Western pride of, oh, people that are offshore, and it was kind of this
Yeah.
negative thing. And man, there are just so many bright, talented people all over this planet, and we
Hmm.
found some, and we started to do that probably in the first 6 to 9 months. Is when we introduced that, and that's shifted some over the course of time. And today we have about 10 people internationally, but um, it was a huge leverage point and it enabled us to have more dedicated, focused team members. But where it helped us from a payroll perspective, to be honest, like it helped us
Hmm.
be um, just careful with not getting into a bad cash position,
Hmm.
and while still kind of fueling some growth and helping us kind of grow up a bit and mature some of our processes and teams. So that was a big deal. One thing I want to call out is we did a great job and maybe not a great job when it came to hiring people that we knew, fr-
Oh yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
We
I thought you were gonna
had
say something else, but yeah, I agree with
we
this.
had we
Yeah.
had a couple misses, and it doesn't
Oh,
matter who knew them. It
yeah.
doesn't matter where they
Well,
knew
it
them
was
from.
always me that knew them. It's always me.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think
it was
everybody
implied.
knew.
But then also some of our very best people
Yeah.
came from very personal relationships that either
Hmm.
you knew or both of us knew.
Yeah.
And that's just a dangerous game to play.
Hmm.
And you have to have really frank conversations on the front end with those people if you have
Yeah.
relationships outside of the business
Yeah.
prior. And so, man, I mean, I would say, a handful of the most important people at Alarm Masters are people that we had some sort of relationship with prior.
Hmm. Yeah.
But lots of expectation setting, and it's overall that's been a strong suit like internally, but we had a couple
Yeah.
couple
No,
missteps.
you're totally right. I thought you were going to take a different approach because this is one thing that we did not do well either is when we hired local local employees to our office, full-time local employees, we were trying to find the cheapest option for whatever we were hiring for.
Yep, that's right.
And we have since learned, and going into 25, we totally changed this, which is talent wins every time.
Yes.
It's like rising tides raises all ships. And we learned that very acutely in 24. So I just want to call that out that, like, hey, I would even wait. It's just destructive. It's not helpful. It's a waste of everybody's time. A lot of hurt feelings. Like go hire the
Yeah.
best person and stretch to pay that person, or don't hire them. Like if you truly don't believe you can hire the stretch, then don't hire them. You got to find
Yeah.
somebody that's outsized. And when we did that in some critical roles, whoo, 25, we looked really good. But in
Way better.
24,
Yeah.
we didn't do that, and we made a lot of mistakes around that. Another thing that I think that we didn't, that really I didn't do well was, um, I sort of like with sales a little bit. I sort of like kind of let that salesperson run independently. I didn't give them the sales playbook. All the sales playbook stuff we talked about really materialized at the end of 24. And in the first part of
Yep.
24, when we had that salesperson, I was kind of just letting them run wild and kind of go do their own thing. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
give them a tremendous amount of oversight and training and structure. And that was a mistake. And I don't know if you can learn that any other way than doing it. But I
Yeah.
would say that one thing I look back at is like, I wish before we made that first hire, we would have had it all the structure in place. I would have followed it, had it documented, had it dialed. And really, the reason we hired him was we were so overwhelmed with sales leads that I was had to hit the easy button because I needed somebody to help me go on these job walks and do these quotes because I just couldn't keep up.
Another major thing in year one was technology.
Yeah,
So the business that we acquired was using an on-prem, unbelievably painful legacy piece of software that looked like it had not been touched since 1999. Um, it was, I think, the single worst piece of software I have ever logged into in my entire lifetime.
yeah,
And so we tried, we had a false start. We started to try to implement Service Titan, actually, which, for our residential friends, that could be great. Obviously, a lot of our like kind of plumbing, HVAC types of friends use Service Titan really effectively. And that's who it was built for. It wasn't built for even an alarm company, but it definitely wasn't built for a commercial security company at all. And they overpromised a little bit, and so we tried for a couple months and ended up backing out of that.
yeah.
And
And it wasn't
so
their
then,
fault, truly. It wasn't the right technology. Like we just didn't know. There probably could have
yeah,
been some better scoping on the front end.
yeah,
And they were super fair because we were like, this isn't working for anybody.
yeah,
Um,
and they agreed. I think it was slightly misrepresented of what it might be able to do, especially when
yeah,
it came down to subscriptions, like all of our recurring stuff. It was kind of messy, but anyways, so moved on, hit pause, and then ended up implementing Salesforce in 2024 and went live in
yeah,
September of
yeah,
2024.
yeah,
And, none of those things are ever perfect, but ultimately that has proved to be transformative for our business. And so that was another element of us really kind of uh, installing our own processes and DNA and kind of the blueprint that we've been wanting to kind of have in our business and true customer 360 and
yeah,
cloud based.
yeah.
Welcome to the 2000s. So that was a huge,
Well, and it gave us what it really gave us is visibility into our data. It gave us visibility to our customer interactions so that we could take actionable insights to like actually do something with that.
yes.
And um, the other thing is, it wasn't just Salesforce. Like we moved our full phone system over, we moved all of our email to cloud based. I mean, everything was local,
Yeah.
and that's just how it had always been done. We had all of our files were local, so we had to do a massive scanning project. So like everything was
Mm,
local, everything was
yeah.
paper, and converting that in 2024. And what's interesting is like you're just starting. Once you get it digital, then it's cleanup time. So we spent all of 2025, and truthfully, we're still cleaning stuff up today. And that's really
Yeah.
a factor of acquisitions because every time you add an acquisition like that has messy data, you're just adding to the problem. So that
Yeah.
you kind of have to get used to that when you're doing M&A work. It's like your data is never going to be perfectly clean. Um, but anyway, yeah. So the Salesforce thing, and then moving to a VoIP system, all that was like a huge game changer for us, and really moved the needle. And then the last thing I want to highlight, and then we can wrap it up here is like this is just really exciting. Like let's brag on ourselves for a second. That
Yeah.
previously when we bought the business, it was really a small team, and like they were really an alarm company. They weren't truly a security integrator business. And the largest project I think to date they had ever done was like 100K, 110K, something like that, which is a great size project, but that's the biggest in all of the lifetime of the business. And
Right.
in that first real full year, and these were when I was like really driving all these projects, we sold we broke the record three times in the first year. So we hit 160K for the first project, then we went to 385K, then we went to 625K, all in the first year. It was just like next project after project. And that was a function of me really figuring out the sales playbook and
Mm-hmm.
understanding how to go to market and how to run enterprise deals and like how to apply everything I knew from Salesforce and selling and helping consult with businesses in this space and trying to like apply that playbook. And we saw it working time after time. And so I would just encourage you, like, man, do those things because me running those deals and getting those deals, A, were fundamental to the growth of the business, but
Yeah.
also it helped inform how we think about sales today and has really helped us get kind of on this rocket ship that we have as our sales team now.
Yeah. And, to kind of wrap that up, we bought the business in the middle of a year, calendar year, but then that first full calendar year that we ran the business, we were up 60%.
Yeah.
And so that started working, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure did. Anyway, it was a wild ride. We learned a ton of stuff. We screwed a ton of stuff up. And
Yeah.
like we're still trying to figure out how to run business. We've been doing this for 3 years and been in the industry for a long time, but like running this type of business for the last 3 years has been a wild ride. Super fun. Excited to kind of talk about the next episode will really be focused on kind of from that first year to current, and then we'll really start to talk through where we are. Like we want to just start giving y'all business updates of like, hey, this is what's happened recently. Like this is
Yeah.
what's been going on in our business, and we hope that's useful. And like we like to build in public. Like we're excited. No secrets among friends here. So anyway, if you like this content, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, just like engage with it in any way is a huge help to us. And we hope you guys have a great week. Thanks.